We rejoin Tyrus as he is recovering in the shepherd's hut. He spends his days exploring the local area and encountering an unusual number of exotic creatures, including some hobgoblins. He also manages to find some more nightshade, which Mouse turns into a powder for him. Once fully recovered, they head back to Redport to poison Lord Jacob, which, after some nautical manslaughter, they manage to do. But Tyrus ends up swimming back to shore. He tries to leave town, but he finds the gates locked and the guards alert, so he finds an alley to lay low in. During this time, he has an encounter with a member of the local underworld, but manages to resolve the issue without violence. Once night falls, he goes to find Mouse and a way to refill his empty coin pouch. He remembers an alchemist was willing to pay for Nightshade root and seeks him out. The alchemist happily buys the leftover root from him and bids them farewell, but Mouse has other ideas, and a quick but bloody battle ensues. Tyrus is victorious, and together he and Mouse loot the alchemist's shop. They leave Redport and head for Clydesdale, and except for a close encounter with a basilisk, which they manage to avoid, the journey goes smoothly. After harassing a local seamstress and forcing her to stitch his wounds, Tyrus tries to patiently wait for the word that the poison has done its work. But Tyrus does not have much in the way of patience, and soon decides to procure some horses, and he does so in the Varasi way, by slaughtering the farmer who owns them, along with his whole family, their dog, 2 guards who show up, and claims the farmer's fat coin purse for himself. What bloody butcher work lays ahead for Tyrus? Did his poison plot succeed? Will Tyrus live up to the cannibal hype? Find out next time on Dicing with Death.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Dicing with Death. Ryan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing much better now that Verasi's in the room. You should look at chat. They're like having a mosh pit over there.
Verasi.
Yeah.
Chosen by Verasi.
Have you considered a career as a professional metal singer?
My entire childhood.
Have you reconsidered it now that you're an adult?
I don't know. Maybe I should revisit those dreams. Or I can just play as Tyrus Bellows in Dicing with Death.
That'll work too. Tyrus Bellows, you are hanging out in... Oh, let's actually get to the right section of the map.
I don't think hanging out is what I'm doing at all. But
you wouldn't classify this as just hanging out with your bros?
I'm... as I, shoved my entrails back in my belly.
What the fuck? Okay, hold on. Something is wonky here. My maps are all crazy.
Limping through town.
My maps are all crazy. Okay, so you're hanging out in, if I can remember the name, in Clydesdale. There we go.
Yes, Clydesdale. It is dawn, if I recall. I have just re-entered the town gates atop the horse of a town guard
that you murdered.
Pony and tow. Yeah.
You only have the one horse, right?
I've got a pony. I've got the guard's horse and the pony from the...
Oh, right. The pony for Mouse.
Yes. And I am beaten within an inch of my life. But somehow I managed to talk my way past the guard.
Yeah. So you're in Clydesdale. It is a bright early morning. The birds are chirping. The citizens are yawning and stretching and poking their heads outdoors. You can hear parents calling their kids awake and struggling to get them out of bed. It is a peaceful, lovely little section of town.
Yeah.
And for a
There's
moment,
nothing
you
peaceful
almost
and
feel.
lovely about my mood.
Yeah. Um, so, yeah. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna take a moment to take a look at the horse and make sure that there's no markings that would denote it as property of the town.
The horse is branded
Sure. Okay.
on its rump, but the brand does not look to be the brand of Clyde. It doesn't have the Clydesdale sigil or anything like that. It's probably just some random horse trader's brand.
And the saddles and stuff, none of it's like, there's not like the big, like some sigils of Clydesdale all over it or anything that might give me away.
The saddle is pretty basic. The reins are fine. Yeah, I think everything is fine. You give it a good look over, and it looks like a pretty generic horse.
And then I probably just got, I grabbed barding for the pony. Yeah, or not. I don't know if there was a saddle that fit the pony, but I did have time to suit all the horses up before the guards showed up.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there a saddle on the pony as well?
If you grab the pony out of the stables, there is not.
Okay. So just a pony on a string.
Mm-hmm.
Pony on a rope.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. So I am going to head to the tavern where I last saw Mouse and hope that he's still there. It's only been, like, I set out last night, so I basically pulled an all-nighter.
Right. Okay.
Evil deeds in the woods and show back in hopefully as he's starting his breakfast.
Yeah, you come.
Is there a stable attached to the inn?
There's like a little hay barn. It's kind of just like a lean-to that's maybe 10 feet deep and 8 feet wide. You could fit 3 horses in there maybe if you squeezed them tight. And there's a whole bunch of hay and a little water trough. Currently there are no creatures in it whatsoever.
Okay. Is there a stable boy?
Nope.
All right. Well, I deposit the horses in the barn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Tie them up or something. I don't bother to like dress them down. I leave the saddle on, and I hastily make for the tavern room.
Okay. You step inside and you see Mouse sitting at a table. He's got a bowl of soup and a ration of bread next to him, a rasher of bread, and he's, eating his soup with his bread.
I stride over to him.
A plump, lovely little lady with curly red hair and freckles dotting her face pokes her head up from behind the bar and goes, "Why, hello there! Good morning, what would you like?"
I ignore her and stride over to Mouse.
Okay.
Placing my hands on the table, I lean over into his ear and say, "It's time to go."
Mouse just gives you a "hold on, I'm eating" hand gesture. And the plump little lady comes from around the table and starts walking up towards you, saying, "Excuse me there, what would you..." And then she stops mid-sentence and starts backpedaling.
I made it past the guard, so I can't be... Oh, no, I'm pretty fucked up. How did I make it past the guard? I'm a charming son of a bitch.
She drops the dish in her hand, gives a scream, and runs for the front door.
I said, "Take it to go," to Mouse.
Comes the growl from his throat. He upends the bowl, tries to eat it as quickly as possible. It spills over his face and onto his clothes. He picks up the hunk of bread, walks over to the bar, reaches on the other side, pulls out a bottle of beer, and
take what you can carry. We may need to hit the lamb.
He reaches over and pulls out a couple other bottles of beer. So he's got like 2 in one hand, 3 in the other, and heads outside, following you.
All right, I lead him to the barn, whatever you described it as.
The little lean-to. As you step into the cobblestone streets, you can see the plump red-headed woman running down the streets away from the tavern as quickly as possible.
I pay her no mind
Okay.
and nod towards the horses. I assume there's like are there saddlebags on the horse that Mouse can shove his beer in?
No, there are no saddlebags. It is just
Okay.
a saddle on the horse with some stirrups and a bridle stuff.
All right. Well, then I let him deal with his own beer. I show him to his pony. He's a gangly, malnourished man, right? He can ride on this pony, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, he's been gaining his weight back bit by bit. He's no longer completely emaciated. It's been, I want to say, it's been almost a month since you met Mouse.
Mhm.
So he's put on some good weight. The two of you mount up. He bareback you in a saddle.
Which way did the redhead go?
She.
Actually, I already said I paid her no mind, so let's.
I mean,
let's
but you can look down the street to see which direction the
Oh,
street
she's
is
still
headed.
running.
No, but like it's a street. You know, it's not an open.
Okay.
She was headed northward, and you guys are kind of in the southern quadrant of town.
All right. I say let's exit south. Circle around the city.
He nods and follows behind you on the horse.
Yes.
As you
So I make for the southern gate. I came in the north.
right.
So
As you get towards the southern gate, you come across a line of monks who are chanting and praying as they walk through the streets.
How much time do I have to react?
You see them about 40 feet out. What is your
That's
aura?
that's what I was trying to sort out. Or it's only 10 feet.
Okay.
Aura of dread. So it's basically those that are face to face, close enough to smell me.
Right.
And I can detect good within 60 feet.
Mm-hmm.
What sense do I get from these monks? How do they-
Detect good is a stop and concentrate for a moment sort of thing. So you,
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try steering around them, but are they like totally blocking the road?
they are walking across this street exits out onto another street, and they're walking across the T intersection. So you can wait for them to pass and then go around back the way that they had come.
Is this like a parade of monks?
It looks like 8 monks in a line, all chanting with their heads bowed, hands in their robes.
Okay, so I'll pull to a halt like 40 feet where I am and give them a couple dozen feet berth,
Okay.
and then continue on.
Once the monks pass,
I guess while I wait, I'll go ahead and throw Detect Good out there if I have the time to
yes,
concentrate.
the monks radiate some slight good auras about them, and as they
in
pass,
as in they don't worship like Astaire or Martha or something, or as in they're not very powerful or they
the
don't
latter.
pray very
Yeah.
Okay.
Once the monks pass, you see 3 nuns behind them, also chanting and waving some large incense thingies back and forth.
Yeah, my blood boils, but as I do so, I like spurt a leak on one of my wounds, and I'm reminded that I'm in no condition to try anything risky.
And once the
Delilah
nuns pass your vision, you see a medium-sized wheelhouse being pulled by 2 heavy horses.
What is a wheelhouse?
It's like a big-ass carriage.
All right, as soon as is it like decorated?
It is decorated. You see markings and
What's
trappings
the
of
concentrate?
Falumbra all over it, the god of the underworld.
Okay.
And you see lying on top of this large wheelhouse is a slightly raised platform with a dead body on it. Its hands clasped around.
I'm starting to get
flowers.
impatient, but now I'm a little curious. It's on open display.
Yes, it is.
So can I see who it is, or if they have horrible bastard sword wounds?
They they do not have horrible bastard sword wounds. You don't recognize the person, but do you have a religion proficiency?
No, I'm dumb as a sack of bricks.
All right. It's clearly some sort of religious
It's a
figure, but
miracle I know how to read.
you can't tell what type of religious figure, but definitely some sort of holy person.
Can I still smell his aura of good on the air?
No. Once that passes by, you see behind it a trail of weeping, wailing women, as well as two armed knights on horseback. The whole procession takes
I've sort of like made myself. I guess it's hard to be inconspicuous, but I like pulled off to the side of the road, still mounted, and I watched this procession.
right.
Falumbra is a neutral god, and I imagine on reasonable terms with Verasi, at least in my understanding, right?
Verasi provides Falumba with plenty of fresh souls.
Exactly.
The whole procession takes 10 or 15 minutes to go past you. You do notice after you start looking around that a lot of people in the streets are paying close attention and kind of standing at attention very quietly. Some of the kids that are like tugging
What
at their
color is my horse?
brown and black.
Okay, and I'm dressed fully in black with like long, greasy black hair.
Yeah.
The visage of death, looking over the funeral procession.
So
You said there were weeping women and armed knights at the end of the
yes,
routine.
yes, and the children that are in the town that start like tugging at their parents, going, "Mommy, Daddy, what's happening?" The parents quickly hush them with a shh, and if they keep asking, the parents give them like a little smack to shut them up. It seems very important to them that this is like a sacred moment.
Are there any kids within, like, adjacent to me?
Within
Probably.
Bastard Sword range?
Within whispering into the ears of the children range?
Yeah, there's a couple of kids within Bastard Sword range.
No, I'll lean down, like the kids trying to figure out what's going on, and I tell them, our Mistress Death is making her return.
Who's Mistress Death?
Go ask your mother.
The kid turns and walks up to his mom. Mom,
And I,
who's
like,
Mistress Death?
Sit back at attention and pretend like I...
The mother pays the child no mind, shuts him up. The procession passes, and you are free to continue on your way.
Yeah, I move along quite abruptly. Like, as soon as the road's clear, I'm like, well, time to go. And then I start, like, hurrying down the street.
Okay.
I'm a proficient rider, so I, like, and I assume this horse is well enough trained.
Mm-hmm.
I just, like, direct the horse to go and let the plebeians or pedestrians.
You
Both.
need more plebs.
Yeah, let them part way before
Okay.
a night.
They are used to getting out of the ways of their betters, and so they move away from you quickly. Mouse follows behind you as you weave through town. You go up the road a little bit because if they were going to your right, you have to like take a left so you don't catch up to them. And you go up this kind of narrow street for a little bit until it empties into a large courtyard with a cathedral in the middle of it, or just on the other side of the courtyard from you. It's probably the largest cathedral you've seen on this island so far.
Do I see any like giant gold rings anywhere? Platinum rings. Symbols of
Right.
the good gods.
No, the above the doors is the symbol of the world, the sphere with a staff through it, which usually denotes a temple to all the gods, which is very common back home for where you're from. And you had seen one of those in Redport as well. But this is large. This is very large. The roof is shingled in. It can't be gold because that would be way too much gold to shingle a roof, but it looks like gold. And the outside is white plaster with marble.
Seems like an odd chance of fate that I happen upon this cathedral, but I want to get out of town.
Oh.
So I pay it no mind, probably cross to the other side of the street and continue on my way.
I get to try out my new dice that I got in Regensburg.
Ew.
Okay. You see some priests in the courtyard talking to people, but none of them come within 10 feet of you. And after some more effort of getting out of town, you make it to the southern gate.
Is it still open?
Mm-hmm. It is open, and you see you see 3 wagons laden with all sorts of goods, mostly farm goods. Agricultural goods, fruits and vegetables, and tied up pigs squealing loudly. The carts are stacked end to end, and next to them is a man that looks like some sort of former soldier. He's got a suit of heavy ringmail around him. Excuse me, I'm hiccuping a moment. He's got a suit of heavy ringmail and a 2-handed sword at his side. Beside him is someone that looks like maybe his squire or his son, who's wearing a simple boiled leather with studs on it and a short sword. The man in the ringmail is talking to a group of what you presume to be the owners of the wagons. You can't overhear their conversation, but they're getting ready to depart. The guards at the gate are watching them curiously, but as you approach, they turn to look at you as well.
So is this caravan trying to get out of the city?
Yeah, it looks like it's about to head out, but is still being prepped.
How many guards are at the gate?
The gate has 3 guards, one on top with a bow and 2 down below with spears.
I continue forward confidently.
Okay. You pass through the gate. No one stops you. You get a little bit of a wave from one of the guards.
I give him a nod and a scowl, and continue on my way without saying a word if I can help it.
You exit Clydesdale out into the open plains. It is soft, lush countryside around you. The peacefulness of it fills you with hate, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna circle around the city and head north through the plains.
Okay.
I'm a people person. Can I gauge Mouse's mood without talking to him? Just like look over at his body language and see if he's like pissed that I dragged him out of town. If I think I need to give him an explanation or where he's at.
You know, he's looked pissed a lot. He doesn't look any more pissed than usual, but he's always kind of just in a foul mood.
Well, his tongue got cut out.
Yeah.
He's chained in that dungeon for God knows how many years.
I would be a little pissed too.
Okay. So I'm setting my sights north. I think it was just a couple hours north of Clydesdale. It was a small hamlet of just like a couple hundred homes where I purchased some overpriced bread.
Yeah. Is that where you're heading?
I'm planning on heading back there and lying low for a little while.
Okay. It will take you a little while to head there. I think that was a day and a half away from where you are now.
That long?
Yeah, because there was that. But you're on horseback now, so you can. If it was a day and a half on foot, you can reach it before the nightfall on horseback.
Yeah.
Even with having to go around the city.
I'll get back on the road once I've circled around Clydesdale and like. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. When you make it to the North Road, you see it's pretty empty and deserted. You notice there's a bunch of commotion near the gate, where there was that cluster of houses and the farm that you raided and murdered and stole from. There seems to be some commotion over there, but you're far
It's
enough
not
away.
stealing if all of the heirs are dead.
Maybe.
Let's leave it at murder.
I guess it's finders keepers sort of thing. It's you discovered some horses.
Yes, I bravely ventured into the dungeon and slayed all of its inhabitants, and then took all of the loot.
Right. Cool. So you head down the road. You see no other living soul the entire way. You pass a few other small villages along the way. Looks like every 4 or 5 miles there's a village with a cluster of houses and some farmland. Usually the houses are all clustered together, and then there's just farmland around them. Some of these will have a manor sitting out front of them, or out behind them, or near them on a slight hill. Manors are usually pretty small, and you presume these are petty lords that oversee a few villages at a time. But you can ignore them all and head back to that one if you really desire.
That was my plan.
Give me an intelligence
I
check
made
to
a
see if you
friend.
can find that village amongst all these
Maybe I pick a different one.
dirty,
I
filthy
probably
people.
pick a different. Holy crap!
No.
That's my village right there.
You find it. You make your way to the village just before, maybe not just before. What is it? You're at the village around 8 o'clock. The sun has already set, or is setting right now as you approach.
All right. I will return to the baker who I bought that bread from while we chill out here the first time.
Okay.
There's not even like a tavern here or like an inn here, right?
No. And the baker was literally just some dude's wife that was making some bread that day. But you know what? You rolled a 21 or a natural 20 on your int check.
On my
You can
intelligence
find
check, so
her again.
Mhm.
Not a problem.
Find him, or either way.
Okay. Well, do you look for the wife or do you look for the dude?
I think I'm going to stroll up to their little cottage or whatever they've got, their farmhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have a barn?
There is a barn here, but it doesn't look like it's their barn.
Is it like a communal barn or the neighbor's barn, or?
It looks like the neighbor's barn. The
Right.
sun sets, and you just hear the squawking of nighttime birds.
Fuck birds.
You hear the occasional turkey.
Yeah. I dismount and approach the baker or his wife.
Okay. It is the baker's wife. You see her talking to a few other, you presume, wives of the area. She
goodness.
sees you come. Well, does she see you coming? She sees you
Everyone
coming
sees me coming. I'm
goes, shh,
I'm
shh,
6'4" and metal as fuck. I don't blend in.
Mm-mm. She quiets down the others, and all the women furtively look at you.
I'm not an attractive man, but I am tall, dark, and handsome, and not tall, dark, and not handsome, but very captivating.
Okay.
So I try my best to. I don't know. I botch my handsome walk as I waddle over to the ladies.
The woman that you had spoke to before goes, it's a pleasure to see you again, sir. Is there something I can do for you, my good knight?
I give her a smile and meet her gaze with my cold blue eyes. Yes, indeed, ma'am. It seems I will need to rest here for a week or so.
I'm I'm so sorry, we don't have an inn in town.
That is fine. I will make do. Whose barn is that? And I point to the barn.
That's Stevie's barn.
Where might I find this Stevie?
I think he's out in the fields getting his horse in, getting his flock of sheep in. It's he's a little late coming home, but he should be here soon. If you wait for him by the barn, that's probably the best place to find him. She says in a hurry to get you away from her.
Excuse me? You haven't had me roll anything. I could be nailing it. I could be just her type. I say, well, when Stevie gets in, tell him to see me.
Where should I tell him that you are?
Around. Yeah, I'll be needing more bread. Best get bacon. And I hand her a gold coin.
She takes it, eyes wide, looks at the other women, gives you a bit of a nod, and says, well, we will be off to bake your bread now. What did you say your name was, Sir Knight?
Bellows. Sir Bellows. And I take the horse over to the barn and, I don't know, stable it up.
Okay.
I'll take off the saddle and brush it down.
Right, you're hitting about 36 hours without sleep at this point.
Yep, that's where I'm aiming.
I think about 24 hours of that was on horseback, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a rough day. Your thighs are hurting, they're chafing, but you're a big, strong man. You can handle it.
Yeah. So I think we'll brush down the horses. And yeah, how's Mouse feel about tending to my wounds? So after I brush down the horses, I'm gonna start brushing down myself in the barn. So finally start to unwrap the leather armor a bit and clean out the wounds as best I can. But I'm dumb as a sack of heads, so actually didn't sound that dumb. I'm trying to make a more morbid expression than sack of bricks, but sack of heads got a lot of brains in it.
It does. It does.
Does Mouse take the hint and tend to me, or is he fed up with getting the raw end of this arrangement?
He rolls his eyes and gives a heavy sigh and helps tend to your wounds. But you get the feeling that he's a little impatient or maybe tired of doing this shit.
I got gold, but if I give him gold, he's just going to run off and
he's got gold.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mouse is fucking loaded.
Where did Mouse get his money? I don't even know.
The apothecary.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well. All right. I look down at Mouse, I guess, who's probably wrapping up a scratch somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
We'll clearly all need to rest here for a week or so.
He breathes. You see him.
We should try and find news of Lord Jacob.
He nods emphatically, and gestures with his head out of the barn.
Yes. Once I'm a little more presentable, I'll see to the people. Or perhaps reeking of blood and sweat and all manner of other things is the proper way to deal with these small folk.
After he finishes tending to your wounds, he brushes down his pony, looks around, takes a saddle off the area that there's a horse that's stabled here too. So he just takes the other horse's saddle and just drags it next to the pony as if it's to prep it for the next day. Walks over to a stack of hay, climbs on top, and snuggles in for the night.
I squat down and rest for a moment. Hell, it's been 36 hours. I probably pass out in the barn as well.
All right. You wake up to a man nudging you with a stick. The man is early 30s. His skin is well tanned from being outside a lot. He's got a shepherd's crook with him and long brown robes with sandals. He probably looks a bit like Jesus would have. And he pokes you. He goes, excuse
Sit to
me,
my feet
Sir
to
Knight.
Start.
Uh,
Oh, yes. Are you Stephen Spencer, whoever owns this barn?
I'm Stevie, my lord.
All right.
But-
I stand up and look down at him, and I suppose you'll be wanting compensation for the rent. I pull out a
If your
coin.
lordship wouldn't be minding, I would most appreciate something.
Yeah. So I'm going to take out another gold coin, and I just got a full night's sleep, right?
No, this is it's dark out. You've probably been asleep for
Oh, damn it.
an hour.
Wait, maybe I haven't. I don't think I've used my cause disease in a long time, have I?
Nope. You've only used it once.
Okay, sweet deal. So I'm gonna take out the gold coin and like taint it on my way to handing it to him, and
Okay.
I don't know, rub it along my butt crack or something, or one of my open wounds, real discreetly. I don't know how I cast this cure disease or cause disease, but
Well, okay. You can
How-
make up how you cause disease.
yeah, I mean, I've literally just been rolling in piss and blood and dirt for weeks on end. I think I'm just covered in diseases, but I'm immune to them.
Hmm. Okay.
So all it takes is a hug.
You gave him a gold coin.
Yes, and
He-
hopefully him and everyone who touches it for a little while gets sick.
Okay.
I think at this point I can do 2 diseases per day, per week.
Yeah.
Maybe,
He
still once a week.
smiles broadly and says, "Thank you, my lord. You're most generous. I hope the sheep don't keep you up, but if their bleating does, just yell at them some."
I nod.
He quickly retreats, gives you a couple
Maybe-
of courteous bows on his way out.
May the mother watch over you while you sleep.
And may Martha bless your soul too. He shuts the doors to the barn and disappears. So, how long would you like to stay in this little hovel of a village?
So it sounded like Mouse was planning to ride out the next day. Does he make up on that, or is he? I mean, he just grabbed the saddle.
Yeah. You notice the next day he doesn't saddle the pony right away. Instead, actually, by the time you wake up, he's already gone.
He has to memorize spells, dude. Oh, maybe he doesn't. I guess he hasn't cast. any.
He's already cast a spell, so he's good to go. And even then, he can only memorize one second level spell, which is 20 minutes of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you haven't slept in 36 hours, so
Yeah. I was hoping to talk to him and figure out where he was going before he had off. But
you wake up and his stuff is gone, but his horse or his pony is still there. Yeah, you find him outside
Okay.
trying to communicate with a farmer.
I approach.
Mouse is kneeling in the ground, having written some words saying, "Give me some bread, you dumb motherfucker." But the farmer is just scratching his head. He goes, "I'm so sorry. I never learned my letters." And Mouse, starts
Bread, man. Give the squire some bread.
Oh, of course, of course.
And show some respect for your betters.
I'm so sorry. He wouldn't speak to me.
It was say a horrible hunting accident. Shake my head.
Of course. The man who you recognize as the farmer from the night, or the shepherd from the night before, hurries off to grab some bread. Mouse stands up, puts his hands on his hips, and shakes his head in disgust. He looks at you
Fear not.
expectantly.
Well, oh Mouse, what is it you want? Where are you off to? You seem impatient. Do you have a tower in the hills waiting for you, or
He kicks the
a hut in
dirt.
the swamp?
He kicks the dirt at his foot and scrawls in the ground, "What happened to Redwing?"
Yes, indeed. Let's find out. I skipped the bread and we'll go into the center of town. Is it first thing in the morning, or did I oversleep? I mean, I oversleep a few minutes, it sounded like, but
Maybe. I mean, it's
are
past
there still
the
like farmers gathering in the center of town, or
it's past the equinox, so you probably slept for like 11 hours and still got up just around sunrise.
okay? So if I can find the farmers before they head out to the fields, I'll go see if they're congregating for breakfast somewhere. Otherwise, I'll approach the women. Yeah, I didn't gain any HP, right? Yesterday was pretty strenuous.
Yesterday was pretty strenuous. Okay, you see a bunch of farmers outside. There's a few guys getting together, looking like they're preparing to head out to do the day's work in the fields. A couple of them give you strange glances, but they do not try and communicate with you.
I was going to try to. Are they all scattered, or I want to try and find a group so I can.
No, they're
crowdsource
hanging out
my-
in a farmer huddle.
Right.
You notice they have some sort of sandwiches that have been wrapped in a flatbread.
Okay. I approach them. Trying to remember what I got 6 int. I totally forgot all the political landscape of the area. But I'm gonna approach them and say, "Men," and I probably abruptly end whatever conversation they were having as I
They all turn to face you.
lurch over the group.
Yes.
Pray tell, has there been news from the north?
From Redport?
That's all there is north, right? Perhaps Hillsborough.
Well,
But-
I don't know how. There hasn't been another attempt on the Lord's life, if that's what you're asking.
Another? There was a first?
It seems that some man was spotted attacking the resupply ship for Lighthouse Keep. Some of the supplies were tainted, they said, with something. It looked like a man tried to poison Lord Jacob himself.
Well, serves him right. I have it on good authority. Taxes will be doubling next season.
What? Where did you hear that? Is it
Shrug,
true?
I say. The places I go, I hear things.
Oh no, they say, looking at each other and kind of shaking their heads. One of the farmers musters up the courage to say, good night. Where are you from? I don't see any banners or sigils."
From the east, I say.
East? There. Shit. What is that place's name? I have all these
There is
counties
an
mapped out.
east.
There's an east. There is. The fuck is this place? What? What? Okay, I guess
What?
it's. I guess my notes have vanished.
That Google
Oh
Doc
no, here we
thing?
go. He says, from Cliffside or from Squatter?
Farther, across the sea.
From the War-torn lands? He asks.
Is that what they call the continent here?
This would be your
This is
first
the
time
first
hearing
time.
that term.
I shrugged and I turned to walk away. Um, just,
Okay.
yeah. I walk away. Let them hopefully gossip about the taxes.
Okay.
Trying to think of ways to sow the seeds of dissent amongst the populace. I guess I'll go solemnly to Mouse.
Okay, Mouse is right behind you, having followed you here.
Oh, so he was listening to that whole conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
He furrows his brow at you and shakes his head.
It would seem Lord Jacob survived.
He growls.
Well, it seems I'll have to stitch myself up and take care of this more personally.
A broad-nosed woman, the one that you had asked for bread yesterday, comes up to you, having been searching for a little bit, and goes, here you are. Here's a few loaves of our special rye bread. I hope it's to your liking. It's fresh out of the oven.
I nod, make eye contact, but don't say anything, and take the bread.
Okay.
And shovel it at Mouse. And at this point, I'll eat some as well.
How long would you like to wait in this town?
2 weeks or something.
2 weeks?
I mean, I'm down 15 HP, so I'm in bad shape. I don't think I will stay in the barn the whole time. I mean, I don't know if you want to role play me making my way up in society or getting chased out with pitchforks.
I have plans for the future, but if you're getting full bed rest, you can heal 2 HP per day.
Yeah, if Mouse stays around, I can. Use it.
Mouse is an herbalist. No, we were determined
Yeah.
Mouse has healing proficiency too, right?
You said he had healing and herbalism, but
Yeah.
last time we didn't have any herbs available. So maybe I'll volunteer to try and find some herbs in the countryside, or
It appears that while you were out the other day, Mouse has acquired some, probably from the apothecary, actually, when you were knocked out there. So if you get full bed rest for a week, you can get 3 HP per day, which should bring
okay.
you to
I don't
full.
need that. So 3 HP per day should be 5 days. Should do it.
Yeah.
Am I able to negotiate an actual bed somewhere?
Let's figure it out.
Oh, I also want I want armor as well. So I don't know if there's a smith in town I can talk to,
No,
or if it's
not in
there's
this
not
little
even,
village.
a quote unquote blacksmith. I'm gonna have to.
No, this place is population 100 people. It's it's like 15 families.
Mm-hmm.
Not even. It's like 10 families.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe only 8 families. They
I
had
didn't
big
even
families
realize it was
back
that
then.
small.
Yeah, it's a tiny podunk little.
Okay. Am I able to negotiate a bedroom at some point, or am I stuck in the barn the whole time?
How would you try to negotiate a bedroom?
Ask if there's a bedroom. Maybe just take one. No. I contemplated that at the beginning, but I was so tired I just went for the hay.
Okay. You just ask someone, hey, is there a bed available?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, what sort of vibe am I getting from these people? Are they just utterly terrified, or
They seem pretty terrified of you. They barely look at you unless you approach and talk to them directly. They tend to keep their heads bowed. They're always using the most respectful terms possible. When you're done talking with them, they skirt away from you quickly.
Lapdogs. Lambs. How will we ignite this countryside without any wolves amongst them? I think we're just going to need to slaughter them all and repopulate the world with
Oh God.
the chosen ones, the children of Varasi.
Okay. So you wait for a week, right?
Yeah, 5 days. I stay in the barn. I'm trying to decide whether I should shower. Maybe chat can help me decide whether I should clean myself up or just cultivate the stink. Cultivate the stench.
Children of Barassi.
So, come the fifth morning, so you're still you've healed 12 HP.
Okay.
People have been bringing you food and whatnot, but as you wake up on the fifth morning with Mouse and push open the barn
Yeah.
doors,
Okay.
what?
Chat overwhelmingly has voted that I need to take a bath. I think Tyrus was torn. He went back and forth on it for a few days, but eventually I did find like a well or something, get some buckets and rinse off the blood and the sweat and the dirt,
Okay.
whatever other fluids wound up on me over the course of my adventures.
Sure. You can have bathed by now.
Okay. And I wear my armor pretty much constantly. It's just studded leather, so it's
Okay. So, morning comes on the fifth morning. You push the doors open to the sight of all of the men in town standing before you with pitchforks, hoes, all sorts of farming implements, standing kind of in a semicircle around the front of the gate with the shepherd in front. He seems a little nervous, but he stands tall and proud, sticks his chest out and says, "We don't want you any more here. We don't want you here anymore. You can't just come in and order us around and." He looks back for some moral support, but quickly turns away and says, "We want you out of our town right now."
very good. I've been waiting all week to hear you say that.
You have?
All right, I get my horse ready. I say, and the next time a knight tries to come through this town, or your lord, and raise the taxes, which they surely will, remember this moment where you stood up for yourselves. The day of reckoning is coming, and only the strong will survive.
Your pretty words have no sway on us. Get out of town.
I get out of town.
Okay.
And with that, let's go into our first break. Chat so disappoint.
Yeah, let's go into
The slaughter will come. Patience, my children.
Well, hold on. Before we take our first break, actually, I need to know your mindset. I need to know your character's heart as you leave town.
I mean, I don't really mean my heart. I'm fine. Like, I see these as, I mean, these are meek people who are not really worth my time. But if I can sow some insurrection in the small folk, I mean, that seems to be pretty in line with my mission.
Okay.
We'll see. If they need to be killed, they can be killed. But like, at this point, if I can turn them,
Okay.
I'll
Okay. Cool. We'll see you guys on the other side of the break. Bye bye.
Barassi.